So I think about myself and I mean, not just my career, myself in general, how I'm feeling about things way less. And it's starting to make me sort of accept the fact that is like the real key to being happy is to thinking about yourself as little as possible, which is so counterintuitive to everything else I've ever thought about my life. I always thought sort of the one thing that you can really, the only thing that we can really understand is ourselves. And that's even kind of impossible. Yeah. And now it just seems like, just don't think about it. Just think about anything else.
There are stories we tell about ourselves that probably aren't true. They're mitigated by faulty memory or augmented by retelling, emphasizing the punchlines. Have you ever watched a home video or looked at an old picture and felt that sharp, corrective sting when you realized that you remembered it wrong? Is there a French phrase for that sensation? Previous generations, and also, entire civilizations, grew up without photos or home videos, so for them the phenomenon was probably more severe. It's how you end up with, say, some of the weirder sections of the Bible. The next generation's gonna grow up with shit like time hop from the jump, so maybe they'll be a little better than we are at separating myth from memory. But it's still mostly going to be Rashomon out there, just pouring rain and howling ghosts and no real objectivity.
We all will remember things the same. 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 We all will remember things the same.
I don't think there's anything wrong with our present state of affairs because, in part, we're all in it together. And also, well-honed stories about ourselves make for much better cocktail parties.
I will just say this. I think the Million Little Pieces dude, I think James Fry was pulling one over and committed an ethical misdeed. Whereas I think that the same amount of scrutiny that was brought to some Sedaris pieces is absolutely ridiculous. And it doesn't matter if some of the things don't happen exactly as they said they happen. Getting something from writing has very little to do with ombudsmaning for the truth.
Well, a couple things.
Of course, the real reason New Yorker fact-checkers still pick over an aimless David Sedaris story about a time he saw a gay bird is because New Yorker fact-checkers are a brand and a sort of a bulwark against laziness in an era of fairly low regard for the truth. Hardliners are well aware that they sometimes do things that are ridiculous, but if they move the line, it never goes back. The whole point is not moving. This is something people on Facebook generally don't understand about politics. The larger dialogue is not the same thing as the larger truth, but the first one can over time change the second one a lot, like erosion. If you get into a fussy political argument with somebody in the next couple of months, consider for a moment that you might be looking at the rock, but they might be looking at the water. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, faulty memory. It's fine. It's life. If a friend is telling a story wrong, don't correct them. Let it play out and see what you learned about their memory. Maybe their version will be better than yours. We should maybe refine the stories we tell about ourselves even more than we already do. We should consciously make them better. Especially for one of those people who's going to try and make a movie about it.
Yeah, I think we've had that conversation before.
I just watched the movie ACOD. It's like ACOD or whatever. It's Adam Scott movie. It was fine. It was very clearly like just someone's autobiographical movie complaining about their parents. It was like that kind of comedy.
Aren't they all?
You know, where like there's just like a couple of details that are too specific, and you're like, am I watching a subtweet? I have a well-established fondness for movies under 90 minutes, and it just so happens that most of these are those so-called indie comedies, which are not so much comedies as they are movies where insufficient tragedy occurs to really count as a drama. These movies frequently have third-act problems, and the most recent example I have seen is the Nick Kroll movie Adult Beginners, which has a significant amount of emotional connective tissue missing at the end. It's got a narrative tennis elbow. It's one of those movies where somebody clearly wrote about something that really happened to them, and then got better-looking people to play their family members. And as always, the third-act problems come from someone trying to force a resolution onto that mostly true story. True stories resist a resolution. Prevailing themes don't usually come rushing back when you'd like them to. Your Lothario best friend who looks like Joel McHale or Chris Messina doesn't give you a bolstering speech at the right moment. In life, you never get much closure, and most of your mistakes go uncorrected and unforgiven. This is why we invented fiction in the first place. Welcome to The Last Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Little.
But yeah, no, I've been doing a lot of the old writing, trying to make a living at it now, which is fun. Got myself an agent and all that.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So I don't know if you've seen, but the series that I wrote or co-wrote with Jack and Dean.
Yes.
Internet sensations, Jack and Dean.
I saw a trailer for that. Is it out?
Yeah. It's the first 2 episodes are out today, actually, on the Full Screen app, which is, it's like Netflix, but for people with shorter attention spans, really.
Right. Technically, I'm on Full Screen, still.
Yeah, they're your MCN or whatever it is.
Right. They collect 6 of my 12 cents every month, you know?
But yeah, I've been doing a bit of writing like that. The Jack and Dean thing is coming out, and that was kind of a big eye opener for me. It was to go from having been on their sketches and stuff like that to actually getting something with a budget up and a massive crew, and we've got sort of actors in it that I've loved for years, like Jessica Hines, who was in Spaced, if you ever used to watch that. Are
you writing that like you guys have like you're in a writer's room? Are you meeting together and writing things? Is it all happening online?
Yeah, we spent about like 3 or 4 months where I would be going to London on the train and staying for a week in a hotel and sitting in a room with Jack and Dean and writing, and then while I wasn't there, we would be doing Skypes every other day and sort of sitting and talking it through.
When you meet in a hotel room to work on writing, I know this has happened before. I remember reading about like Michael Bay like locking a couple of guys in a hotel room to like finish Transformers 2, in like an afternoon.
It never worked.
And
didn't work.
But like, what who sits on the bed? Who sits on the floor? Is it representative of your status? As does the head writer get to sit on the bed? Somebody else gets the chair over in the corner. The intern sits in the bathtub in the bathroom. How does it work?
Yeah, the intern sits in the hallway. Well, on the Jack and Dean series, we did sit in a hotel room for one day, and Dean wasn't there, and it was just me and Jack. And I sat on the bed, and Jack sat at the little desk. So that's my experience of that.
Yeah, well,
take of that what you will.
These are important things. This shit's not in the screenwriting books,
This is what the public needs to know. This is
they do. Everyone's like,
when
like,
you go
act
to
breaks,
screenwriting
whatever,
101.
Internal fade in, whatever. Which is when I get to the hotel room, what am I supposed to do?
Where do I sit in the hotel room? Come on.
You're kind of doing like the modern creative. This is like the newest thing. You know what I mean? Like these kind of online networks that are getting into their own content libraries and streaming services.
Yeah.
And some of them have money, so that's great. Like, it seems like there's a renewed interest on the part of like Amazon and Netflix and stuff to like actually just fund creativity, and not super cynically funnel it into some kind of like branded content garbage pile quite yet. You know, like the first couple of rounds of the internet trying to like monetize creative people were a lot more crass than this. It seems like now people are like they want to build their brand, you know, and that building a brand means make cool stuff first.
Yeah, I think what we're probably going to see is people trying more often than not to become like a trusted brand for a reason, you know, rather than just getting the word out. People are trying to get people to come back. Mm-hmm. I think that's the thing.
And while you can certainly get people to come back with your content, I have to say that I'm realizing more and more that infrastructure is a big part of it too. I just canceled my CISO account well before my free trial was up, in part because I've seen enough episodes of Harmon Quest, but mostly because their player is garbage. It has horrible streaming quality, terrible navigation. And as much as I'd like to pretend that sort of thing doesn't matter, it so clearly does, and it's sort of depressing. Because for a long time, I have maintained that, you know, for young video makers, production value in individual videos doesn't really matter. And in fact, too much production value is sort of off-putting. You know, it has that little kid in his dad's suit feeling to it. It's one of my, hopefully, very admirable populist views. I want to be the Joe Biden of online creativity. You don't need the fancy lights and the expensive cameras, and, you know, while that is still true, it doesn't really reckon with the infrastructural leg up that's provided for free for now by a platform like YouTube. God go with you, kids on Daily Motion. You know how, like, all these YouTubers recently have posted all these panicked videos about, like, their dwindling audiences? Because like, you know, everybody's making their own thing now. That's good. It's like you should be happy.
That also happens like every fiscal quarter for the last 5 years. I like different communities. I've seen their whole the whole YouTube is dying thing, but it's just their audience is dying, and they're not reaching out, or they haven't like looked outside of their own bubble.
I read a book about Saturday Night Live, and they talked about the idea that, like, Saturday Night Live is dying has been people have been saying that since season 2. Basically, they've said, you know, it's not like the old show. So I wonder if, like, YouTube is dying is going to be the new Saturday Night Dead of our generation.
It's not what it used to be, quote, quote.
Yeah. It isn't. It isn't what it used to be. And I think about that fairly often, because every once in a while some old video that I made will come up. You know, like time hop style. It'll just some mechanism of the internet will throw it back in my face, and I'll watch it and I'll go, "Oh, like, holy shit!" First of all, the kind of things that counted as jokes even 10 years ago are like not 100% problematic, but like borderline. Not so much things that I say on like old episodes of like AFO or something, but things I would stop other people from saying. And it wasn't that long ago that, I don't know, if we were getting attacked for being too liberal and it moves really fast.
The past couple of days I was watching How I Met Your Mother just in the background while working from home, and wow, like a lot of jokes have changed from, or a lot of what is allowed, kind of a lot of masculinity jokes are on that show. Mm-hmm. And I remember that a lot of my jokes, what I thought was funny for me, was kind of framed from them, like they were one of my influences.
Sure.
So
just like Friends was mine.
Right. And I also think, like, in terms of Friends. Mm-hmm. So when I turned 24, I was the age Rachel Green was on the pilot of Friends.
Were they roughly the same ages when that show started? Because you know how TV is now. Like, TV now, right. A 30-year-old plays a 24-year-old.
Lisa Kudrow is, like, 10 years older than everyone.
Interesting.
But that was the only one.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
They all seemed. Yeah.
I would have guessed that, like, Matt LeBlanc was secretly old.
It looks that way these days.
Well, because he was dyeing his hair, like, for the whole back half of Friends.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he went Anderson Cooper premature gray.
Oh, wow.
That's why he looks like he's suddenly aged really fast, is that he stopped dyeing his hair.
Oh, man. Did you watch Top Gear? Isn't he doing Top Gear now?
I think so, but you know how, like, there are British celebrities that have the same name as American celebrities? Like, Top Gear is also hosted by Chris Evans, but not Captain America.
I was confused by that for a long time, so when the news came out that he was leaving the show, I was like, isn't that a little beneath him anyway?
Yeah.
He should probably move on.
He should have moved on a long time ago. Yeah, so I think the American Matt LeBlanc hosts the British Top Gear, but there could be a British Matt LeBlanc who's, like, 3 times as famous over there. I want to try and determine what celebrities, what awareness of them, if it makes it across the pond.
Right.
Okay. So what I've done is I've written a list of celebrities.
Okay.
Okay, and I just want to know if you've heard of them.
Okay.
As a European person.
Okay.
If these names have entered your consciousness. Okay.
If I don't know them, can I guess what they do?
Yeah, I think that'd be perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Bill Murray.
Yeah, he's an actor. He was in that one about flowers. He was in that film about
the flowers that are broken.
Yeah, the flowers that are broken. He has been. Oh, he's more famous for Ghostbusters, really. Actually,
I was going to ask if Ghostbusters. I was wondering because you never know. With certain big movies, they have different names in different markets.
Oh yeah.
So
it
would be really great if you were like, oh, the fellow from Ghost Lads.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's called Spirit Busters over here.
How about Abigail Breslin?
Wow, no idea. She sounds like she might be a famous chef.
Dale
maybe.
Earnhardt Jr.
Again, no idea, but he sounds like a famous sort of like angler, maybe like a fisherman. He's got his own TV show called We Catch Them All.
Malia Obama.
She is some relation to Obama.
Scott Baio.
Oh, I have heard this name.
That's unfortunate.
I think. Maybe. What was his name? What was his name again? Let's hear
Scott Baio.
Scott Baio. I don't know.
That's right.
I really don't. I don't even think
that's good.
He doesn't even sound like a famous person to me. He doesn't even sound like someone worth. Like it's not even worth me thinking about what he does. He's like probably just like some sort of waiter in a bistro or something.
In a perfect world, that would be true.
Yeah.
Ani DeFranco.
I feel like I have heard of that, but then there are a lot of Francos. There are a lot of DeFrancos out there.
That's true.
I don't know. I maybe like a mathematician.
Colin Jost.
Wow. No idea about this one.
Okay, what do you think? What do you think Colin Jost does?
Oh my God. Colin sounds like a sort of. He paints very small pictures of animals.
In my head, someone who would paint small paintings would have a longer name for some reason.
True. Okay.
Like just more syllables.
That is true, yeah. That is really true, actually. Yeah, it does feel like that. Maybe he paints small pictures on large canvases.
Oh, maybe that's what he does.
Yeah, I feel like
that actually fits more. Meryl Streep.
Oh, she is an actress, or an actor, as they prefer, as everyone prefers, who is in films. Who's the one that... Or is she the one that looks like a lion? Who looks like a lion?
She kind of looks like a lion.
Okay,
Yeah.
maybe it is her. No, I get her confused with Barbara Streisand.
Hakeem Olajuwon.
You've just made that up. That is something you've dreamt.
John Wayne Gacy. Wayne Gacy.
Oh, he's the big murderer. He's the big killer. He's
big time murderer.
yeah.
Okay, so now I'll tell you, this next name also sounds like a murderer, but I'll just tell you right off the bat, it's not. Okay. David Hyde Pierce.
Yeah, that does sound like a murderer, doesn't it? He is.
Yeah, it really does.
I haven't heard of this guy. I don't think. Is he just? Was he? Can you say the name again? Can you say that?
Yeah, it's David Hyde Pierce.
Right. I think this is just someone's dog.
Wouldn't that be a great name for like a trapper in the old frontier? Because like they get animal hides and then they pierce them.
Yeah,
with tacks or whatever to dry them on the side of the barn.
That's
David
good.
Hyde Pierce.
Okay.
Ryan Stiles.
Oh, he's the improv guy.
January Jones.
Wow. No. This is. I feel like this is another musician though, another singer, maybe a folk singer.
Okay, I was gonna say, what instrument would she play?
Oh shit! I didn't even think it was a she. I thought it was like a sort of like what is that? Like a bluegrass singer, songwriter, plays banjo.
Oh yeah, yeah, like an old. Oh, I found an old 12-inch from January Jones. That old song, "Sorrow Come Pass Me Around."
I think that's it.
Yeah, as far as How I Met Your Mother goes, I think I've watched recently older episodes and I've thought, wow, like Barney's a rapist.
Yeah.
And it's basically played up as laughs. Yeah.
Yes. There was an episode I just watched this morning where it's when spoilers. It's when Barney and Robin started dating. Mm-hmm. So it's season 5, and then this guy Brad comes in and asks Robin out, and they haven't decided what they are yet. Mm-hmm. And so Robin said, "I would love to, but I can't." And he said, "Well, why not? Do you have a boyfriend?" And she said, "No." And the Brad guy was like, "Okay, then I'll see you tomorrow."
Well, that still, I think, happens even on like, I feel like someone like sort of being coerced into dating somebody happened on an episode of Casual that I watched like yesterday. And it's almost like there are certain writerly fallbacks that they just can't let go of yet. Like, the reason, like, plot lines that would be solved by cell phones and text messaging, there's a lot of that still. And it's just because we just have to wait for, like, everyone Aaron Sorkin's age and older to be dead. And then it'll be okay. What was it that I watched? I watched a bunch of short films at a film festival last year, and some of them were literally directed by, like, 14-year-olds. But with lots of organization and technology, because, like, the arts community in Portsmouth is such that if you're a 14-year-old who wants to make a short film, there's, like, a bunch of 40-year-old adults who will help you, and not in a creepy way.
That's amazing.
So what was amazing about watching short films done by 15 and 16-year-olds is how, like, fluid phones and technology just get integrated into the plot. And it's so easy, and you almost don't even notice it. And it's something that never, ever, ever happens on any movie I've seen. Maybe, like, 1 or 2 movies that are so small that they're going to get, like, just dumped onto Netflix in 6 months and nobody will ever see them. But nothing that's in theaters, nothing that's going to come out for the next 3 years will make sense of phones the way that, like, 15-year-old screenwriters can.
Do you think that's why we see more histories lately, or, like, throwbacks? Histories. What's the right term for that?
Historical
Like,
depictions?
yes.
I mean, yeah, maybe. And then also you kind of see, like, the like, kind of, Juno kind of, like, invented the, like, high school story that takes place in a fictional hybrid universe. And another movie that did that in kind of a weird way was, did you see It Follows?
Oh, I love It Follows.
And It Follows, what
Yeah.
year does It Follows take place in? It Follows sort of takes place in, like, 2025 and 1970 at the same time.
Right.
And
But
it's
is that like set from its score?
Well, but
and
also,
from
like,
its-
they're watching, like, black and white movies on, like, a TV with a VCR thing in it.
Oh,
the
that's
only
right.
phones that you see look like they're phones from alternate universes. Like, the girl has that clamshell phone. Nobody
Right.
has an iPhone. Nobody has recognizable technology. And then, like, it's all a mix. So it's kind of like they live in some kind of Mad Max future thing where certain stuff survived and other stuff didn't. There definitely doesn't seem to be, like, an internet in It Follows.
Yeah.
What is the best example you can think of for, like, people creatively depicting the internet, text, on the screen in front of you? Because I remember liking what happened in Gone Girl, but I kind of forget how that goes. I feel like Gone Girl did it sort of intuitively. Actually, Men, Women, and Children, the movie that I absolutely hate.
I've never seen it because I heard people hated
It's
it.
the worst movie I've ever seen. However, some of the visual depiction of website use and texting was very creative. And then I just recently watched Unfriended, the movie where like a social media ghost. Yeah, and that's actually really fun. It's basically the same as there was an episode of Modern Family that took place all on like a series of Skype calls. It's like a less product placement-y version of that. Because
nice.
the Modern Family one was an Apple commercial, but Unfriended is a little more fun because it's, I don't know, they're like using different chat windows, and my TV is too small, so I had to like sit like 6 inches from the screen to like read what was going on. But
I've always like I love concept horror movies. I don't know what it is, but I've always wanted to see Unfriended, but there's nobody around me that would want to see it with me, and I'm not a huge fan of seeing horror movies by myself. Sounds really stupid, but I love the concept of The Purge.
me too.
I've never seen it.
I haven't either.
All of their trailers look awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and how each thing is a different point of view and a different time frame, and I love that.
I even thought this new Purge election year thing, I think it looked so crass and exploitive,
Yes.
but I thought that's so much fun. I think that's
Yes.
great. I think I'm a big fan of the Purge, and of almost like overly conceptualized horror movies. Because Unfriended is, I mean, they're so married to the social media ghost thing that it gets scarier as it goes on. But a couple of times, characters have to do things that just make absolutely no sense. Because at some point, don't you just close your laptop?
It's not that much different from what you do in your own head when you're writing. I think that you do that, obviously it's horses for courses because everybody's got their own technique, but I tend to sit and mull things over and write out plans and outlines and scene by scene things.
You do write outlines?
Yeah.
That's amazing. I've always wanted to meet someone who writes an outline because I would love to. It seems like a good idea. But what happens for me if I'm writing something longer? I'll outline, the first act or whatever, and then I could go on, but I just get impatient, and I just want to write. I want to write the stuff that I've outlined, so I can never get that far. I know it would be great to start with one stage, get to the next stage, but it has to always be a little bit of everything. It's kind of a little bit easier to do this podcast because the podcast starts with interviewing people. Maybe have some loose concepts on a piece of paper first. Then you can start outlining things. I just found a piece of paper that said it was like work monologue. Then it said like interrupted by Chelsea. Then it said like back to this. Then it was like, and then it had like a question mark, and it was like bongos noise, and that's the way I have to do it. But when you do those,
but I think again that's I think, like I say, the way that you work is, you know, it's unique to yourself, and I think that I do think that that is reflected in a lot of your work. I think that kind of patchwork and you know, the kind of magpie. I would like the
feeling that I had some sense of a style or plan. You know, like I don't like the fact that my style has to be no style. Do you feel like you are conscious of your kind of like creative input to output ratio? Like as far as the books that you're reading, the movies that you're watching, do you ever feel like you don't have enough coming in to put anything out onto a page and you have to like stop and say, all right, I need to go like read for a little while so that just so that anything is coming in the other end? And I'm not just going all the way to the very back of my brain and whatever weird shit's back there.
Like scraping the bottom of the brain barrel. It's a bit weird for me because I'm in the position now where I'm trying to do something for a living that I've kind of subconsciously always wanted to do but never really pursued. Mm-hmm. And since I've started actually doing work as a writer, I'm way down on my film watching. Like I used to watch movies all the time, and I'm still watching films, but statistically a lot less. And I haven't read a book in about a year, whereas I was reading sort of, you know, I did the sort of the 50 books challenge or whatever, sort of the year before last.
Yeah.
And it's just, the books thing is because when you spend all day looking at words, I don't feel like relaxing with some more words. And the film thing is simply because of time. I think that it's like I used to stay up all night watching movies, and now it's like, well, I've got writing to do.
Yeah.
So I've been watching a lot more TV shows because they're shorter, so you can just watch. You can watch a TV show episode and not feel bad about yourself. You know,
right.
Like you've not wasted a lot of time.
So what you're saying is, for people that are listening to this show, you know, maybe getting ready to eventually pursue some sort of creative career at some point in their lives, you know, that what you're doing right now, when you're just hanging out, watching movies and reading books and stuff, is you're doing prep work, you know, because you're not going to have time for this later, but you do need it.
So this is, I was going to say that's the state of affairs now, but I've just turned 34 and I've spent about 20 years of my life just watching films and watching TV and reading books.
Yeah.
And that's all that I've done, you know. So it does feel kind of like I say, subconsciously I've been filling myself up with all this sort of narrative fiction, and I've got to the point now where I am hopefully able to just sort of puke it back out, you know.
Yeah. And I guess, too, there's a concern, I suppose, that, you know, now that you're writing professionally, that to some extent you want to be able to just trust yourself and what you got going on, because it's more dangerous now that you might like start like imitating something that you read or saw or something. There's some sailing expression that I'm thinking about of like, you know, sail to the beat of your own compass.
Sail to the beat of your own compass, or was that the bead? The beat, like a bearing.
You know, like those compasses that are also metronomes. You know, like. So...
But I think something that I've come to realise as well from doing this, you know, professionally, in as much as I am doing, is that you can't worry too much about stuff like that. I mean, don't go around ripping people off or anything. But if you have an idea and then kind of go, oh, it's a bit like something else, or I've become a lot more at ease with things being generic, like not too concerned about making like Memento or something like that. Like, you know, it's not everyone can just conjure the most. You can't just pull the most original idea out of your ass. That's I'm very at ease with the fact that I will probably be a generic writer.
Well, and also it's not as though creativity only lives in like sui generis ideas, right? Because some people write. David Simon wrote a show about cops and drug dealers. Like, there's no crazy twist in the middle where it turns out that like Omar is a figment of everyone's imagination. And so, like, I think so often, like, you know, we all get Nolanized, right? Where we want like there to be some mind-blowing aspect or twist or something. But the truth is, a lot of the best writing and a lot of really good writing it's two people in a room at a table, you know, and how they talk to each other. And sometimes, you know, you can capture some aspect of humanity or whatever in some words or in an emotion or in a situation within a generic situation that nobody's ever been able to express before, you know, or and it's like those little moments of creativity and everything are bigger and more fulfilling than, ooh, I thought of a great way to make a movie about sharks that stay above the water or whatever. Like, it's not like those. I don't know. It's definitely not
Sharknado.
Today's episode of The Last Podcast featured the voices of Paul Neafcy, Leslie Datsis, and Ryan O'Connor. It featured music from the Pinch Hill Orchestra, our in-house organist Morgan Little, and Hop Along. It also featured clips from WTF with Mark Maron and Slate's The Gist with Mike Pesca. Thanks for listening. See you next week.
Zachary Little.